Welcome back. It's been a while since we've made a comprehensive video, but here we are. I would like to be more consistent with making the videos. I have my attention elsewhere, creating, using AI tools to make apps, or at least our team is making apps and websites using AI tools. We're pretty proficient in that area now. Nowadays, on that side note, we have two apps coming out for. We're still working. We're still trying to perfect what we want to show on the screen for our trading apps. We're still working on those. We have two coming out. One from Blackline, one from Me Beg Coins. But on that note, we're just here to go. We're just here to do a comprehensive overview of what we've been looking at over the past few weeks, past few months. It's been a while since I've created a comprehensive video talking about everything, and we're just going off the top of the head right now. We're not even taking a look back at the old videos, but we have been talking about being careful that we're in a bear market. We hit 100, I believe, just for in Bitcoin's sake. Obviously, we have to watch Bitcoin. We're looking at, let's go to the 1 month. We were looking at, actually we can go to, let's do 2 week to get more clarity. We hit this 126K. We came back down. We talked about getting out around 120K, or the majority of your money out if you did that. Congratulations for listening. We've been here for a while. This is year 14. This is year 14 for us. We've been here for a while. We are perfectionists, and we learned how to make the market work for us. And we've pretty much been on point for the past 3 cycles. So if you've listened, you're listening to a group that we know we've been doing for a while now. Bitcoin was all the money, pretty much all the venture capital money and institutional and dark pool money, all that money went into Bitcoin. It pushed Ethereum to 5K. We called that one too. We said 5,200. And now we are in a bear market. We have been in a bear market since October. We were saying October to November 2025 is when we'll start to see a bear market. That's just how the that's how the 3-year bull market cycle goes, and we also have a 1-year bear market after that to put together a compilation of a 4-year market cycle. So from here, it's pretty easy. We know that we're going to be in a downtrend for a year from the top of, as you can see up here, you see the numbers up there. We're going to see high. When I scroll over this bar, you're going to see a high of 126,000, almost 200 since October 6th. This is a 2 week, so October 6th, 2025 is when we topped, and historically, this is the 5th cycle. The last 4 cycles, we have seen a 1-year downtrend, and typically the downtrend lasts for 1 year is 52 weeks. We see somewhere between 52 and 53 weeks of downtrend before we pop back up. And if we take a look back at the last bottom, the very bottom of the market was right there at 15,500, 600, depending on the exchange you looked at. We called the very bottom. We actually do have a video called the bottom. We were marking it out from the time we dropped into the accumulation zone, what the pattern was going to look like, and then what the pattern was going to look like coming out of the bear market bottom as well. We called 15,000 bottom. We bought that and we rode it all the way up, and that was November 14th, 2022, the week of, and and as you can see here, just for reference, we topped in October 8th, 2021, a year prior. So it's usually 1 year, 1 week. So we're looking at entering in 1 week before the 1 year mark, the 52-week mark hits. So keep that in mind. We're going to talk about it very often. And so the pattern doesn't always have to look the same, but the time frame will end up being the same. right? Because I can put these ghost patterns over for the entire year frame. It's not going to look exactly the same, but it is actually acting very similar to the 2022 drops. It's acting very similar, as you can see here. Very, very similar, eerily similar. And if you take a look at the Fibonacci levels, we have the Fibonacci set. You see a dotted line we have set to the very bottom of the last bear market and to the very top of this current, the end of the last bull market, right? And so, yeah, it's almost like we can line it up. It's not going to line up perfect like that. We're not going down that far, right? But what we can do is, we're last bear market, we saw 77% drop, and so with depreciating, I don't even know what you want to call it, but with depreciating, a depreciating drop, exponential drop percentage, we're not going to see anything more than 77%. Again, my estimate, I believe we're going to come somewhere around the top of this level. You see where the dotted line comes all the way over to this side right here. I believe we see somewhere between 39,000 and 49,000, somewhere here, just from what I was from my research, looking back at the last level that we could possibly hit. And what I do to make things very simple, I take the fixed range volume profile and I take the entire range of this structure from there, the start of it, and then you can even come to the end of it right there. You see how it lines up, this top lines up with this area here, that entire range there. And I believe we could come all the way down to the bottom of that level. But I believe what happened last time in the last bear market, we hit somewhere very similar over here. We hit, there's this little structure here. You see right here, we hit the bottom of this structure right there. Very similarly, last bear market, for the bottom of the bear market here at around 15,600. We could do something very similar to that right there around 42,000, I believe 42,600, 42,700. We also have $44,000. I believe we come somewhere in, we retest this structure from 49,000 down to 39,000, somewhere in there. That's just taking a raw look at the last structure that we tested. There's also this level here, the end of this wick at $49,000 that we could possibly retest. And if you line that up with the Fibonacci, that lines up with 70, just around a 70% drop right there. Worst case, I think we get a 75% drop. What does a 75% drop look like? We can come in here, add this Fibonacci level, and we can see what a 75% drop looks like, and that would take us to around 43,300. Ultimately, what I believe is going to happen, it doesn't matter what the price is, right? We have to keep that in mind. The most important thing is, because we're going to get caught up in, oh, it's going to go down to this level, it's going to go down to this price. We get so caught up in price because we're so anxious to be right about what about getting in at the exact dollar. Now, I won't say it's impossible. I've done it a few times. I've recorded it a few times to get in near, not the exact dollar, but within, close to within range. And there's a strategy to do so, utilizing Fibonacci extensions and value area lows, point of controls, value area highs, to find those exact or to find those numbers to get pretty close. The most important thing is that we're worried about is figuring out the date that we're gonna be getting in at. And just to keep it safe, just so you don't have to overthink it, you're setting an alarm to October 1st. That's it, October 1st, 2026. And if you go all in, even if we have a drawdown, right? So let's say it does go to 75%, right? So we're going to actually just act like this is how it's going to look, right? So we're going to see the date moving at the bottom, right? We're going to go to, let's say it ends, is we're on the 3-day right there. Let's say 1 year, almost 1 year exactly, right? Even if we end up getting in 1 week prior, the drawdown is going to be very little. Let's go back to reset chart. All right, we got a lot going on. Don't mind that. We're going to scroll over here. Even if we get in here, I'm going to do something helpful. I'm going to close those out. Get some processing power back to the computer. Actually, sorry, let me have to put it back over here, huh? Okay, so, right. So even if we get in 1 week before the Pico bottom, the week of 11/21, 11/14, 11/21, we get in 1 week. The low, if you look at the top where the red numbers are, the low is 15,800, and we wait a week. The low is 15,500. Just about. That's a negligible difference, right? So we're going to start getting in 1 week prior to the actual 1 year mark, right? So you should set your calendar for October right now, so October 1st, 2026, and we're going to stay loyal to the 4 year cycle that we have ran through 5 times now. This for Black Lion Kings, we've been through 4 cycles already since 2014, right? So this is the 4th cycle for us, but so now we have all this data, we have the success, we have the logic, we have the charts, we have the dates, right? All the biggest thing we're worried about is the date. And then we're going to sit here, and if you look at what happened previously, we did have a pretty fast run up to new all-time highs, which nobody believed would happen. I had a hard time believing it. Even then, I was calling for 56,000 and then a pullback to 32,000. Even myself, I didn't know exactly how this pattern was going to play out. We got an all-time high to 73,000 before the halving, before the Bitcoin halving came, and this is the week of March. I believe it was March 10th that the halving happened, and then we saw the chop solidation all the way down to, what was it, 48K again, right, to create that crazy wick. And we were watching this closely, very closely as well, and we happened to get in at 49K and rode it up to the next new all-time high, right, to 100,000, right? So we did all that, and it's all in the Discord. You can go back and keyword search, and it's all there. It's all there in the Discord. What am I looking for? Where's gallery? Right. So you can come back into the Discord group and find where we talked about that. It's all there. So to keep from getting sidetracked, we're just worried about the date. Right. That's all we're worried about. And we're going to just hold for 3 years, because you have to convince yourself that no matter what the news says, no matter what bomb is dropped around the world, no matter what Trump says, and whether you like him or not, whether you believe him or not, whether you believe the presidents or not, whether you believe the senators, politicians, congressmen, whoever, whether you believe your friend who happened to make a lot of money last cycle and mistimed the end of the cycle this time, whatever, whoever, we're not believing any of that. All we're believing in, the only thing we believe in today, starting now for everybody, is the 4 year cycle. They talked about the 4 year cycle isn't dead. Oh, we're in 5 year cycle. Oh, there's so much money, more money in the system than last time. Well, yes, there was so much more money in the system this time. Where did that money go? We should have hit 160K minimum. We should have hit 160K minimum, but that money was cut off because AI took over and AI infrastructure absorbed all of the money that was supposed to go into crypto. No more speculative assets, no more speculative spending by the venture capital. They pulled all their money. Ethereum was supposed to go to at least 7,200. They pulled their money out after a new all-time high and put all their money into AI infrastructure, right, into that system, because we saw NVIDIA go up 10,000% over the last 5 years. We saw several stocks do altcoin numbers, right? So that's why they ran. That's where all the money ran to. There's more money in the system because we're in an inflationary market. We're at near the end of the reign of the U.S. dollar as we know it. The last paper currency, the last great paper currency of our world, and the charts show it. And we are going into an era of digital dollars, right? That's how we're going to transition out of the U.S. dollar. So the U.S. dollar is being used as a proxy for again for wars, to start wars, to keep the U.S. dollar strong in its last, say, 4 to 10 years that it's going to exist in its current strength, right? And so all that money left to AI infrastructure in the stock market and buying gold. Gold broke out, obviously. Silver broke out. So a lot of money left crypto, which is just straight up a speculative market. For now, besides Bitcoin, Bitcoin is just the most well-known, besides Ethereum, besides Solana. And that's all been, the entire crypto market has been co-opted by all that flood of money from institutionals and banks and hedge funds and venture capital billionaires and all that, by that institution, right? They own it now. But what we're sticking to, what's long and true, is the 4-year cycle is going to stay, right? And we're anticipating it goes down, it goes down 70, no more than 70. All I can say is no more than 76%. And it doesn't matter the price, we're buying first week of October. So we're gonna keep going into the next assets. So we wanted to give you a quick rundown. Again, we've been talking about the 4-year cycle continuing, and it's just how money goes. You have to have winners, you have to have losers. We won for 3 years, and now you have to have losers for 3 years, or for 1 year, right? That's a fair trade-off. To win, you have opportunity to win for 75% of the time. Very fair from any perspective, right? And so we also talked about. Let me make sure. We also talked. We talked about here the 2022 fractal playing out, and this was when it was at 82,000, right? Everybody wanted the price to go up. That's not healthy for the market. We're in 1 year. We're in the middle of a 1-year downtrend cycle. 2, it's just not healthy for the market for something to continue to go up forever. Even the S&P 500 has some 30% pullbacks overall, right? But what we're trying to get to, I was warning everybody, 67K doesn't hold, we hit 61. 61 doesn't hold, we're definitely going to see 59, and then 59 was my line in the sand. It was like 59's, that's where it's going to end up at, right? And we still want to test 64,800 and 67,000 are the next resistance levels. I don't really think we go to 67,000. I think we start coming back down again. Now, that's the last thing I did want to say about Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin, we come down. Here's what happened last time in Bitcoin market. I think we are right here. Similarly, this is June 13th. I think we're in a very similar area right now. And I believe, I'm going to mark it out with this box, this is what we're going to be doing. This is what we're going to be doing for the next 4 months, right? We're going to just be chopping downwards into October 1st. So I'm going to be starting a new short position. I probably should have just held it, but my short position, but I'm going to be starting a new short position probably in the next few weeks. I do think we get some price action moving back up over the next month or two into resistance. As you see there, that is the 200-day moving average that we rejected cleanly off of, and then we had to retest in January. And in January, we started the new uptrend from there, right? And so similarly, we have the 200-day moving average is currently serving as resistance as well, and that's at 67,000. We can finally just reject there. I believe 67,000 would market would be a pretty good indicator of how high we'll go in this little retest region, and then we start going down again, and that's pretty much where I'm going to start my new short. Now I'm going to hold until first week of October, no matter what happens in the market. So that I will talk about more. We'll go more in depth to what's happening here in another video because it's very important. But I was trying to allude to that we were talking about that I was jumping into Zcash, you'll have to watch the last video. It's in the Discord and on the YouTube channel for you to watch. It's the June 4th video. No, sorry, it's the June 5th video update where we talk about it. And we were also talking about, we got into Zcash around $300. My average entry was $315. As soon as you start seeing these, so what happened with Zcash? We had a big drop over FUD and bad news over the course of a day, and we always buy the overextended currencies just to get at least a 30% move out of it. And if we can see here, we at least get 30% out of it. It's called a dead cat bounce, right? From the top to the bottom, we add, right? So we could have took out at 30%. This is an old strategy I used to use very often. Oh, something dropped very hard. What's the 30% mark? You could have got in anywhere. Got in at 315. You could have got out at 367 and made a nice little profit. But I do believe I've said it multiple times before that privacy coins are the future, because that's where a lot of politicians, they're called dark pools for stocks, where they throw a lot of their shares in the market without getting any tax hits. And I believe Zcash, Monero, and we'll probably have a few other privacy coins come up in the next 4 years that'll grow significantly in value, because dark money needs dark pools, and Zcash is going to serve as a dark pool, which it did serve as a dark pool, even though it was in pretty much an infinite downtrend spiral since its existence. If this chart will even show it. No, like we can't even show it here, but obviously we got a nice boost up going into the end of the bull market. We peaked at $750, which I believe I called in the group, I believe. Right, let's see if that brings up anything. But I've been mining Zcash for a long while. Oh, Dash is another coin as well that's mineable right now. I tried to get into Tornado Cash, didn't last very long on the dip. I just don't think people are ready for. I don't think people are ready for it, right? It might have been in the other group that we talked about it. Anyways, I firmly believe in privacy coins that are showing value, like Zcash and Monero, and that we'll see new all-time highs, radical new all-time highs. Like I'm even saying like $500 million at least minimum over the next cycle into Zcash alone. So we're in Zcash right now, and we're up pretty nicely on it. Again, I was in at $315, and if I can find the tool, it's somewhere up here. Long short, Fibonacci. Come on, where is it? Not sure why. Price, we'll just, yeah, it's already right there. $315, I mentioned it, right? And we're currently up 47% on that position without leverage. Obviously I use leverage. So we're sitting nicely in that. Where do we expect it to go? The 618 is a nice level at 493. But if since we're using the fixed range, volume profile, of course, we take this entire structure, the start of the structure to the end of the structure, right? So it starts dropping again. Basically it's just a rectangle that you're taking. The value area low, let's see if I can move this. Yeah, we'll move that to the value area low. We're gonna call that the value area low in case we do hit it. All-time high, value area low. All-time high, value area low. We're gonna we're going to mark that out. In case we do hit it, I think we're going to have a swing failure pattern here before we come back down and we start ranging in this area, right? I think we're going to hit somewhere a little bit short of it. It could be that $493 mark, could be 506 before we end up pulling back. So that's what we're seeing with Zcash. Again, I'm mining Zcash with actual miners at hosting locations, so I'm not worried about buying too much. I did take that swing trade just because it was the opportunity was too juicy. And again, this is why we set the fixed range profile levels. I'll mark it out for you again, just so you can see. I'm always willing to help, willing to learn. We say, oh, we're trying to figure out this entire range here because we dropped all the way down to there, right? So if we would have kept this range marked out, right, from top of this range to the breakout of this range, right? We're going to go from anywhere close there, and we can even say just there at the top of that range. We got very close to where we would have dropped to if you would have set your level. So this is called a swing fail pattern, which means because we didn't touch this level, we're probably not going to come back to that level for a while. So that means we'll have a reversal, a swing fail pattern. You see that gap there. That means we weren't ready to revisit and go lower. That's what that means. So we hit swing fail pattern to the point of control level, which was at 344. You could have set a price to 250 and you would have been sitting pretty, because that was the last place. That was the last accumulation zone, and the point of control marks the average for where we were at in this entire range. So you could have set price there 241 and always set go up a few dollars. You're not going to get a perfect entry, and you could have had a pretty good entry. So 250 was always in the back of my mind with where, if anything failed with Zcash, which there was an apparent bug that just got found out, and so far nothing has been found about it, that there wasn't any double spending on Zcash. We'll find out. I'm not going to sit here and defend Zcash in that way, but so far there's nothing wrong with. Nobody really used the bug so far, and it hasn't been proven that you could, and it's actually not provable right now, and there'll probably be an update that will show what actually happened, and that's going to be very important for the price of Zcash if it just ends up going to zero. But I do believe that something is going to that Zcash is actually worth it as a privacy token. While some people say, oh, you can't see the actual supply moving, and that's a bad thing, others are like, that's the point, that's the feature of it. It's the privacy coin. You shouldn't be able to see it, right? So we'll see how that ends up going. And then during this time of the Bitcoin downtrend, Bitcoin is always connected to MicroStrategy, and we talked about STRC. Let's see where we talked about STRC. I was saying I'll get into STRC. We talked about it. If you want to earn 1% monthly, it's 11% yearly APY on your USD. Then STRC is at a big discount. You have to buy it on the stock exchange. I have it on E-Trade. That's where I took my savings from my high yield, my 4% per year high yield savings account, which amounted to about 0.0035 per month, or 0.035 per month. Yield to a full 1%, 0.1% APY per month. So you can easily say, oh, I have 10,000 in there, I'm going to earn $100 every month to battle inflation. That's what these high yield savings accounts are for. But STRC offers you the ability to invest into basically utilizing the strength of Bitcoin, the strength of the Bitcoin ecosystem, and where Bitcoin is going to go as where institutionals and even MicroStrategy has shown the future for Bitcoin, that it can be used as a credit instrument. And so you can make MicroStrategy is basically using their Bitcoin to issue credit for their stock. And so they are offering a dividend, a 1% per month dividend right now and for the past year and a half. And so I'm like, yeah, that makes sense for me. Take my money out of because you have to believe in Bitcoin first and believe in where Bitcoin is going to go um, as a currency and property in the future to actually utilize this ETF, this service properly, right? That's first and foremost. So well, there was something that happened recently with Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy. They had sold some Bitcoin that was priced at $111,000. They sold it into the market for a few $1 billion, and then they bought it right back at a $77,000 price. So they effectively lowered the cost of the Bitcoin that they have in in their possession by what 40,000 dollars, right? So that was a strategy. And of course people were like, oh, the people that want Bitcoin and want MicroStrategy to fail, and they want all that entire new system to fail. More people are loud about it than what the actual facts were. So a lot of people don't actually know how MicroStrategy works and what MicroStrategy has tried to do or is attempting to do. So you got a lot of quote unquote haters without facts. Of course, most haters don't have the facts, right? So MicroStrategy's down. I don't plan on buying MicroStrategy until I see a bottom. Again, we're not here to talk about MicroStrategy necessarily. I will be investing in MicroStrategy on the 4-year cycle pretty much as Bitcoin starts to accumulate and go up again at a severe discount. MicroStrategy could be around, I believe it'll be around $72 by that time. And I believe it'll be sometime in July or August. But in that case, MicroStrategy is going to be strong at that point, and Bitcoin's going to be attempting to accumulate and show strength around, well, not around that time, but by October at least, and then we'll be in MicroStrategy going up from there. But right now, I'm storing my residual cash in STRC to earn a higher rate. Side note: you want to have your money diversified into different services. I'm still building. I still have a small amount in my high yield savings, but majority of it went into STRC, and my average, I believe, is around $96 anyways. And so I was saying best time to buy is now, because when you look at the dips for STRC, they happen, right? For whatever reason, I still haven't investigated. These dips happen. And so that's the time where you can gain value off of the share itself, so you can earn extra money off of that dip. And so as you can see here, the price on NASDAQ went down to all the way down to $90.38. And so you could have bought somewhere around that point. If you would have bought at $92, Monday starts after all the FUD is washed away. Michael Saylor comes back and said they're going to buy 1,000 more Bitcoin, and now the price is back to $97, just about. Right, so that's how this works. And if you just look historically, it's like, oh, whenever there's a dip, it gets bought back up, and then the average ends up coming back up to $99, $100 per share. So you would have been getting a few shares, even right now at $96. We're going to see it back at $99 in a few days. That's just how this instrument works. And during that time, for taking the risk with MicroStrategy, you earn 1% APY per month. And another side note, in a few days, they're going the vote for this instrument to pay out bi-weekly is coming up, and even more money is going to flood into this instrument. And that's going to change the metrics for how much APY is handed out. But right now we're earning 11% per year, and that's better than the inflation in the market. So that's an option there for you as well. And another thing we'll talk about is the US dollar. We've been waiting for, as you can see the lines, we've been waiting for the US dollar to bounce off of this long-term trend line. Again, a very important long-term trend line. We got a little deviation below it, but here we are accumulating in this zone. We marked out the fixed range volume profile. Next level we're expecting it to hit is 101. We're going to set an alert there. That just means the stock market is going to be in a crunch right now. Once the the US dollar index breaks out, we could see a pullback in the stock market. So we have to be careful with that as well. But we are only expecting a lower high this time. We're going to hit this level. Do we, do we go up, and then do we come up here, and then do we accumulate here, flag, and then break out again? Possibly, very possibly. Let's take a look at the 1 month a little closer. You take a look at the 1 month a little closer, then we also take a look at market. I mean, yeah, it looks like we're gonna end up hitting a level, a lower level, and then breaking down. We have the RSI almost topping out, but we do have the stochastic pulling up as well. We have green, red, green into a breakout, into green, into more green on the volume profile right there. That's on the 1 month, 2 month. We have a green dot coming up. Volume starting to come back in. We see the bull action happening here. We have RSI coming up. So it looks like the dollar is going to do well for the rest of the year, and that's going to spell consolidation or breakdown for the stock market overall. That's typically what we are waiting to see, and we're waiting to see about 105 on the US dollar index. Besides that, we're going to go back into Discord again. Stay tuned there. We're going to attempt to make more videos to keep track of what's going on in crypto. Now is between now and October, and pretty much forever from then on, for the next few years, it's a great time to get into Go mining. The link is in the mining section here. I have not been advertising it because I wanted to wait until we hit a level of quote unquote support, or at least better pricing than where we were at 120, 10, 100,000, 90,000, 8,000, $70,000 before I started talking about it again. But get into gold mining. Pooji, he's been a loyal supporter for a while. He has a Mining Wars pool clan that you can jump into and earn even more hash power or go mining tokens for your clan and for yourself. So jump into that channel there. We're also going to minimize a lot of these channels. We took out the DeFi channel because DeFi is pretty much dead at the moment. It has to recalibrate itself. I believe AI is going to be very important in the next bull market, so maybe we'll have some AI channel going on there where DeFi was, and we're going to have a lot more coming into these other channels. We're going to consolidate a lot of these other channels as well. NFTs are going to go away for now until probably we're mid bull market, then we can start talking about NFTs again. Otherwise, right now they are completely dead. So we're going to leave it at that. We've talked a lot. We had a lot to catch up on. We're gonna have a lot more coins to go over. I will, as you know, along with Bitcoin, we'll be going into. While we're here, we'll be going into definitely believing where Solana is going, and definitely believing where Ethereum is going to go as well. Just because these are the coins that the institutionals are throwing. They're going to be throwing their money into as well, and I think Solana underperformed considerably. Looks a lot like Ethereum, where it hit a new all-time high and then came right back down. Overall, what are we looking at? Solana, you can still see it's curving. We're curving back down a little bit more. You can see it on the weekly. The weekly still coming down. So assuming everything's following Bitcoin, we can assume, let's see, we went up and then we lost almost 100%, and Sam Bankman-Fried did his his thing with Solana. We went from $1.50 low to $259. That's a great investment right there. 259,000%, I believe. That's great. You put in $10 and hold it until the end of the bull market. You're going to do well. And then we went at a low. What month was this? It looks like end of November, just like Bitcoin. And then for the bear market, and then the end of the bull market, at least for Solana, was the month of December 2025, right? So we can assume we're going to jump back in November-ish, 1 year bear market. Well, we can assume we'll start getting back in November and then see how high this can go. Do we get another higher high? Probably not. We'll probably end up getting, let's see, the 2 week. We can get some more data right there. So higher high, lower high, lower high, lower high, right? So maybe we do get a breakout from here into a higher high. But ultimately, we could go down 90% before we see any significant price action. If we take the Pico top up here to the previous bottom, and then we flip it, and Solana, right? There's the 88.6 level. You could probably start getting back in at $39. The last time we went from the low $1.50, and then this low was $8, right? We probably say 90 something percent. We could probably say 90% drop. Yeah, we could probably say 90% drop, right? We probably say $30 before we get back in, right? So we're going to keep an eye on Solana as well, and we're going to ride that out for 3 years again. Again, it's all about the 4-year cycle. We are in month 6 of the 12-month downtrend. Keep that in mind before you try to start listening to the news or to people, influencers saying they're getting in with their stack. Very sure 9 out of 10 of them are doing very poorly right now and have been doing very poorly since the top of the market. Why listen to them? Just stick with the 4-year plan. October is when we're jumping back in everything. We're going to continue to talk about that over time. And obviously Zcash is still making its way up to the 500 mark, and then we're going to watch the 500. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, concerns, things you want, topics you want us to talk about, fire away. We're going to at least try to make one of these videos again a week, just to keep you engaged and to keep track of this 1 year downtrend during the 4-year cycle. So yeah, we're going to leave it at that. And thanks for watching.